By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I constitute this assembly a congregation of the University of Cape Town.
We will now sing the National Anthem. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite a member of the SRC to read the university dedication.
At this time of celebration, we, the members of the University of Cape Town, reaffirm our mission to nurture rational and creative thought and free inquiry, to strive for excellence in teaching and research, to educate for life, and to address the challenges of our society. We undertake to advance these ideals in a spirit of freedom and responsibility, and through consultation and debate. We celebrate our founders, benefactors, and predecessors, those who have built the fabric and nourished the values of UCT. To those of you who will graduate today, we wish courage, wisdom, and purpose. To those who will leave the university to learn and work elsewhere, may you be sustained by those values which unite us here today and advance them in the world beyond. A love of truth and of learning and of this, our university.
Thank you very much. That was Amma Ambush. Amma Ambush is an ensemble that was started in 2007 by UCT alumnus Ross Johnson. And many of the performers are current students at UCT. I'd also like to thank the UCT choir, who were accompanied by Eben Wachenstrom over there, who led us in Gaudiamus and the National Anthem. The UCT choir is a fully student-run ensemble and welcomes students from every faculty and discipline. Please join me in another round of applause for Acting Vice-Chancellor, members of Council, distinguished guests, members of the University Senate, members of staff, graduands, parents, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Jamison Hall on the occasion of our graduation ceremony for the Faculty of Sciences this morning. A special word of welcome goes to our wonderful graduands, their parents, relatives, and friends. All our graduation ceremonies are special. They're special because of the achievements of our wonderful students. You'll encounter this morning and you will join me in celebrating with them the outstanding accomplishments of these young men and women. Our ceremony is also special because we use occasions such as these to pay tribute to the achievements of our members of staff. And today we recognize the achievements of our staff in two categories. First, for excellence in social responsiveness, and then for excellence in teaching. So welcome again to you all. Acting Vice-Chancellor, we now move to the awards part of our ceremony. Acting Vice-Chancellor, the Social Responsiveness Award recognizes engaged scholarship. I have the honor to present to you, sir, for the Social Responsiveness Award for 2012, the Environmental Evaluation Unit. The Environmental Evaluation Unit's research activities are rooted in the arena of natural resource management and its interface with communities. It works to enhance understanding of the governance of complex human ecological systems through collaborative interdisciplinary research across natural resource sectors, mostly in poor and marginalized communities. Evidence of shared planning and decision-making is evidence in its workshops with communities. These gather information for resource management planning processes. The focus of the unit's work in poor rural communities in South Africa and Mozambique is on benefit-sharing interventions that secure social justice outcomes. Communities are involved in all aspects of the research process. The EEU was involved in research to support the rights of the San over the Hoodia plant and continues to work with biodiversity custodians and traditional knowledge holders to ensure they receive fair benefits from use of this knowledge. The EEU's teaching initiatives involve postgraduate students in action research, providing context for theoretical approaches and valuable experience for students and community researchers. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite a member of the Environmental Evaluation Unit to accept the award on behalf of the unit. Acting Vice-Chancellor, the University's Distinguished Teachers Award, given only once to an individual, recognizes teaching at any or all levels by a member of the faculty who has made a significant and lasting impression on students. It acknowledges the primary place of teaching and learning in the work of the university and marks sustained excellence in teaching. Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you in absentia for the award of a Distinguished Teachers Award, Zenda Woodman, whose citation appears in the program.
by virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I admit to the degrees specified the candidates recorded in absentia. I shall now admit to the degrees specified the candidates to be presented to me.
Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you, for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Ismat Adams. Giovanni Ricardo Amancio. Kirsten Philippa Candace Anderson. Mokolowani Charles Apane. Jessica Joan Armstrong. With distinction in biochemistry and human physiology, and the degree with distinction, Marie Belle Katrina Mendoza Oklu. Nadia Batches. Munib Badarun. With distinction in computer science, Linray Jefferson Mpo Barons. With distinction in biochemistry and genetics, and the degree with distinction, Angela Claire Burrows. Henk van Sale Botha. Devin Anthony Bowen. Jenna Nicole Boca. Anika Tandiwe Brewer. With distinction in biochemistry, Kunda Bwalya. With distinction in ocean and atmosphere science, and the degree with distinction, Gregory Burns. Nokukanya Melissa Krele. Pindele Promise Krele. Anisha Chiba. With distinction in human physiology, Taylor Kyle Chin. Fanuel Tawanda Choto. Sherilyn Taryn Christie. Gabriella Francesca Christie Smith. Becky Shadrach Gindi. With distinction in chemistry and environmental and geographical science, and a degree with distinction, Annabelle Elizabeth Combrink. Gerard Grant Dalton. Ashik Daniels. Laurent Daniels. Nicola Ann Day. Janae Lynn Davies. Julia Elaine Davies. Akila Davis. With distinction in human physiology, Tracy Lee DeBrain. Nikki Dignon. Majaha Muziwandili Dlamini. Emma Dubel. Seth Dreyer. Vincent Paul Duggan Jones. With distinction in computer games development, Joandre Dumani. Mark Alexander Duplessis. With distinction in computer games development and a degree with distinction, Danielle Dutoy. Samantha Louise Dyer. Laura Jane Edge. With distinction in ecology and evolution and marine biology, Chantel Elston. With distinction in human physiology and a degree with distinction, Mark Patrick Engelbrecht. With distinction in applied biology and marine biology, and the degree with distinction, Tamlin May Engelbrecht. Rudy Engelke. Muhammad Amin Essof. With distinction in computer games development, Nathan Burt Floor. Matthew Foster. William Alfred Francis. Robert Alistair Fraser. Chelsea Fuller. Mpo Gegana. Amber Tony Goldberg. Vimbai Rachel Gora. Kaylin Nicholas Govender. With distinction in ocean and atmosphere science and the degree with distinction, Robin Lee Lindiwe Granger. With distinction in biochemistry and genetics and the degree with distinction, Kim Tamara Gerwitz. Amail Robin Harikishan. Alexandra Karen Hartley. Michael Ian Hay Hartnady. Kate Allison Hawkridge. Aisha Hendricks. Tia Lynn Hendry. With distinction in computer science, Damian Lee Higgs. Graham Winton Bruce Hillary. Nicholas Richard Hilterman. With distinction in genetics and microbiology and a degree with distinction, Karen Ashley Hobbs. With distinction in chemistry, Tanya Hodgson. Laura Mary Hoffmeyer. Adele Teresa Ho. Tanya Huber. With distinction in computer games development and computer science, and a degree with distinction, Benjamin Forster Hugo. Michaela Robin Hulley. Claire Kathleen Ingram. Gloria Iracosa. With distinction in computer science and a degree with distinction, Michael Joseph Jackson. Rido Jefta. Skalk Jordan. Kimberly Jane Jocelyn. Laurel Margot Joseph. Rahima Joseph. Maxine Gail Yugonath. Rafika Kamish. With distinction in biochemistry and human physiology, and a degree with distinction, Amanda Juliet Kirby. Catherine Jean Claassen. Blake Klug. Philippe Manuel Koch. With distinction in microbiology, Matthew John Kukumur. Nicola Kuhn. Tandeka Lisa Kulati. Daniel Andreas Kuza. Amira Lumbere. Kwana Janet Leshiile. Claudia Catherine Lewis. James William Lewis. Taryn Lee Lewis. Nawal Luke. Shalen Lusinga. Dane Marshall Macchia. Ledil Maki Madiba. Tendai Mtubuki Madziwera. With distinction in business computing and the degree with distinction, Tammy Matamela Maiwasha. Kate Macon. Gerard Mullingret. Kolofelo Maloma. Lebogang Mamecha. Rendani Leticia Mambonani. Nuran Martin. With distinction in biochemistry, genetics, and psychology, and the degree with distinction, Zella Alexandria May Martin. Halatedzi Kevin Matidza. Maiden Pendili Machika. Ntombi Kaisi Florabel Mazibuko. Zemeli Avomeli Mbanjwa. Grant Joseph James McGowan. Justin Raphael Melnick. Rudelie Bianca Merks. Dorothy Emma Mshlanga. With distinction in biochemistry and human physiology and a degree with distinction, Dieter Milka. Benjamin Jacob Mari. Rialaboho Mohono. Teboho Jacob Mosili. Nonschlanschla Motown. Shileka Anne-Marie Impanda. Puleng Edith Mpo. Taiwanda Criswell Mtemachani. Zaman Charlie, nomen intendi Mchali. Nasipi Inoba Sipishishle Mtsi. With distinction in biochemistry, Chenerai Innocent Mochiperi. Rudzani Melba Moedi. With distinction in applied biology and ecology and evolution, and the degree with distinction, Seth Daniel Muska. Cheyenne Mutukarapan. Mtunzi Stephen Mavuma. Mtobisi Mzobe. Rayanta Naidu. Tabo Nshlovu. Bonenkosi Enoch Nkobo. Isaac Inshlapo. Alexander Murphy Norman Dysel. Griffin Andrew Norke. Gelewe Baketsele Nzibanda. Kutula Nchoncho. Tulani Imvelo Inyati. Alicia Akieng Okeo. Amy Joy Ustaban. Wade Osborne. Nina Kechepele Otswalang. With distinction in chemistry, Francisco Edelson Moreira Paiva. Chloe Ella Papadimitriou. Julia Barbara Patterson. With distinction in marine biology and ocean and atmosphere science, and the degree with distinction, Robin Pauline Payne. With distinction in chemistry and environmental and geographical science, and the degree with distinction, Carrie Teresa Pike. Moachabo Natalie Ruachasha. Kira Isabella Ram. Hasrada Ramburn. Stephanus Petrus Rotenbach. Chelsea Claire Rebello. Deshni Reddy. Danica Sharon Richards. Ariella Nikia Rink. Yale Simone Roger. With distinction in applied biology and ecology and evolution, and the degree with distinction, Annabelle Jade Rogers. With distinction in biochemistry and environmental and geographical science, and the degree with distinction, Jeremy Temba Rose. With distinction in marine biology and the degree with distinction, Megan Nicole Rousseau. Marwin Rylands. Ryan Saunders. Mary Louise Schiller. Daniel Eric Skilperud. Patricia Nonkululeko Saletlo. Michael Shaw. With distinction in biochemistry and human physiology, and the degree with distinction, Stephanie Shaw. Sven Roland Siedentopf. Simone Caroline Singery. Daniela Ann Smith. Sharif Smith. With distinction in biochemistry and genetics, and the degree with distinction, Timothy Francis Racklin. Mohammed Faraz Sulaiman. Barakansanya Godfrey Swai. Patricia Catherine Swart. Brandon James Talbot. Deneo Jeanette Maria Tau. Welcome, Tawana. With distinction in microbiology, Taryn May Terry. Anna Telesinos. Caitlin Patricia Uren. Arend Rosier van Black. Justin James van Black. Jocelyn Merle van Eden. With distinction in applied biology, Julia Laura van Velden. Luke Jeffrey Fuljoen. Storm Fuljoen. Yao Wang. Robin Waters. James Anthony Watson. Digby Webb. Tariq Raoul Weber. Joseph Douglas Mandla White. Jessie Gloria Whittle. Christopher Ronald Wilkes. Michelle Jo Wilson. Romy Jennifer Wood. Lauren Wooler. With distinction in applied biology and marine biology, Amy Grace Wright. Golosile Fortune Yende. Lubabalo Siavuya Zamgaka. Shaka Mbongaseni Zulu. In biology, earth, and environmental sciences, Gemma Kendall Pelton Bluff. Courtney Clark. Sylvester Emmanuel da Silva. Tanya Diba. Elaine Jessie Duplessis. Kamera Nancy Evans. Marilise Franklin. Nicole Isabel Garcia. Rui Antonio Enriques. Mohammed Zubair Isaacs. Marimecha Aubrey Kakana. Kolofelo Hope Kwakwa. Anthony Martin Lawrence. Hulisani Luvengo. Spongile Prudence Meyiwa. Sambesiwe Katala Mfenyana. Alison Danielle Midgley. Ruth Moeti. Johnson Tapelo Manchiwane. Nazira Musa. Rose Tufilongenda Tuye Mawano Mtuleni. Claire Francis Nichols. Mzwandeli Maxwell Ntamo. Tamsankwa Pindani. Pablo Dario Silva de Gueva Pinto. Karen Gale Reed. Jody Lee Reisenberg. Matthew James Rosenberg. Renee Shearitz. Koketso Providence Senosi. Tulimusho Bonifatius Shilongo. Travis Smithard. Sishumilisanda Sipelele Spellman. Kanyani Nasir Tsoka. Sumkita Zungula. In chemical, molecular, and cellular sciences, Zaira Ahmed. Catherine Elizabeth Beard. Tamsin Lee Bettison. Mandisa Kele. Blessing Chibaro. Tapiwa Bevan Chiwota. Carla Ann Fernandez. Charles Foyer. Jonathan Neil Golembo. With distinction in microbiology, Shirazan Deneo Ismail. Nichte Yilmit. Eleanor Kudzani Kupe. Camachelo Lebeco. Brian Mark Leonard. Zanele Ilwana. Spelele Malaza. Rabalani Maumela. Nomusa Elvira Mbongwa. Candice Chanel Myers. Kotso Folang Mohale. Tembankosi Mpofu. Nompumelelo Refilwe Nkobe. Nombuzo Portia Ngubane. Vimal Yesvantri Samji. Khatija Bibi Sheikh. Tubani Paul Shangaze. Tayyiba Tahir. Brain Tabisho Toisi. Anda Tiwabi. Ilana Claudia van Rensburg. In information technology, Hatiye Etheridge Chindove. David Howard Cohen. Nkosikona Tlamini. Bhavana Harilal. Warren John Kane. Injabulo Comfort Kati. Zola Julius Madolo. Putang Makupane. Jitaro Mokotong Maubane. Tsele Imtumkulu. Sizwe Inslovu. Wusani Negoyuni. Ayami Insaliwa. Ziad Parker. Bruce Mark Selinger. Peter Christian Slabbert. Eric Chinhao Su. Hassan Zalgaonka.
Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you, for the degree of Bachelor of Science Honours in Atmosphere Science, in the first class, Christopher William John Broderick. In the first class, Willem Stefan Conradi. In the first class, Myra Nike. In botany, Jessie Burnt. In the first class, Alison Bale. In the first class, Annabelle Williamson Cardoso. In the first class, my Vanwin Gibson. Thomas Colin Morris. Frida Nonsiyanga Tembo. Kim Christie Zöller. In chemistry, Rachelle Dominique de Chamoy. Chanel Irene Fouché. Avella Cuneni. Fezile Malalela. Mabuto Maloti. Latisa Makeda. Roxanne Mahunlal. In the first class, Nomakwezi Mvumvu. Tandokazi Ndlakusi. Winnie Nshimani Nkwana. Mlamleli Alan Ntantiso. Shane Cedric van Wyk. In Environmental and Geographical Science, in the first class, Anesli Vivian Crisp. Robin Adele Dreyer. Awongiwe Mtumkulu. In the first class, Andrea Enger Roxon. In geochemistry, Tamzon Talissa Jacobs. Mapolo Carlo. Sefularo Teboho Lekhao. Copano Kanyani Marcela. Bulelwa Alucia Mdleleni. In geology, Bright Vuyani Duze. Leila Harbaharan. Marvel Hope Makubela. Andile Lucky Msolo. In the first class, Usha Ranchod. In molecular and cell biology, Samantha Francis Bailey. Tunahafo Elizabeth Brock. Margarita Deval. Jonathan Douglas Glass. Natalie Hoffman. Liesel LaRue. Manolo Matthews Makela. Yun Mao. Adam Natherson. Jean Felistas Ntuli. Janke Peters. Kudzaisha Caroline Saziba. Elizabeth Louise Waldron. In Ocean and Atmosphere Science, Xoliswa Dlomo. Patiswe Kedama. Mokete Simon Koacho. In the first class, Philip Peter Massey. Liboham Innocentia Melato. Lorato Elizabeth Mpesha. In physical oceanography, Christopher Richard Jacobs. In zoology, in the first class, Jordan Lane Calder. In the first class, Cara Louise Danielle. In the first class, Olivia Deckers. In the first class, Nadia Rachel de Souza. In the first class, Nina Catherine Lester. In the first class, Beth McKay. In the first class, Helen Safadi Muller. In the first class, Mohammed Azza Nunku. Jennifer Kim Roberts. In the first class, Tanya Scott. In the first class, Kim Lee Stevens. For the degree of Master of Science in Applied Marine Science, Brett Reimers. In archaeology, Troy Nathaniel Smuts. In botany, Catherine Margot Brown. Oscar Dlodlo. Aluwani Atalia Chiela. In chemistry, Muniba Adams. Gregory David Bowden. Leah Charlie Matsinha. In computer science, Piha Mashaka. In environmental and geographical science, Ratidzo Dlembu. Dejanine Alexandra Moreira Diaz. Takadzani Chiano Edzani Takalani. In geology with distinction, Carly Faber. Takani Ntoli. Pia Alexa Viglietti. In molecular and cell biology, Anastasia Andrea Dina. With distinction, Lucien Devanacher. Tamarin Lorian Ellick. In ocean and atmosphere science, with distinction, Luke Greger. In zoology, Lance Anders. Aidan Picard. Amy Georgina Harrington. Carrie Ann Pretorius. Robert Nicholas Vos Raw. Alison Vivian Towner. With distinction, Rowan Brandon van Eden. In archaeology, Ndivu Eric Matoho. In environmental management, Jarrett Robert Davey. Julie Louise Rumble.
Acting Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Botany for a thesis which investigates the nature, extent and rate of vegetation change in the Karoo Midlands region over the last 100 years in response to climate and land use influences. Momoto Leonard Masubalele. In chemistry, for a thesis which, through the synthesis and characterization of new zinc and palladium catalysts, contributes to the production of bio and photodegradable polymers. Peter Malachi. For a thesis which focuses on the synthesis of a new class of molecules based on combining the structural motifs of carbazole quinones and aminoglycosides that target enzymes necessary for the survival of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Nicholas Daniel Watermeyer. For a thesis which, through a combination of theoretical and experimental studies, contributes to the design of new palladium catalysts for ethylene oligomerization, Feng Zheng. In computer science, for a thesis which describes a novel drought prediction solution for Africa that is hinged on an integration framework that employs computer science tools to create a bridge between indigenous knowledge and modern science on drought forecasting approaches. Ifraith Mutoni Ireri Masinde. In environmental and geographical science, for thesis which focuses on model evaluation for seasonal forecasting over southern Africa, Nana Amakum Brown. In geology, for a thesis which examines the use of the controlled source electromagnetic survey method in Equatorial Guinea and its validity as a tool for petroleum exploration, Nawal Razak. In molecular and cell biology, for a thesis which employs comparative proteomics to characterize the heat stress response in the commercially important red seaweed, Gracilaria gracilis, Taryn Grace Boom. For a thesis describing the effects of HIV infection and antiretroviral treatment of the gut bacterial population in South African HIV-positive patients, Sarah Jane Duplessis. For a thesis which uses advanced computational techniques to help shed light on how the expression of the genes is regulated in biological tissues containing several different types of cells, Renard Gajou. For a thesis which focuses on characterizing the roles of the 3-gene REC-A operon from the opportunistic pathogen Bacteroides fragilis in host tissue invasion and antibiotic resistance, Samantha Ann Nicholson. For a thesis which characterizes the role of nitrate reductase and glutamine synthetase two key enzymes in the nitrogen metabolic pathway in nitrogen stress Gracilaria gracilis. Amelia Francine Reddy. For a thesis which explores the physiological and molecular bases of flowering time in Protea, Mariette Swart. For a thesis which focuses on the evolution of olfactory receptor genes in a family of subterranean rodents, the Bathyergidae, endemic to sub-Saharan Africans, Sophia Stathopoulos. In physical oceanography, for thesis which investigates the dynamics of the Zambezi River plume and its sensitivity to wind forcing, tides, coastal geometry, channel bathymetry, and ambient currents, Fialho Palog Juma Nahama. For a thesis which focuses on characterizing the vertical oceanic temperature profile structure from satellite-derived sea surface temperature in the Benguela current system off the west coast of South Africa, Carl Kevin Weinman. In zoology, for a thesis elucidating the effects of habitat transformation on the physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of Western Cape wetlands, Matthew Simon Bird. For a thesis which focuses on understanding the factors that drive benthic algal communities in rivers of the southwestern Cape and implications for river management, Justine Lindsay Hewitt-Smith. For a thesis which studies the conservation significance of wetlands for water birds in the winter rainfall region of South Africa, Douglas Michael Hairbottle. For a thesis which examines new ways of analyzing data from citizen science projects to provide information about the status and conservation needs of poorly studied large terrestrial birds, Sally Dorothy Hofmeyer. For a thesis which examines the conservation status and management of the endangered freshwater fishes of the Cape floristic realm, Sean Murray Marr. For a thesis which advances knowledge in oceanography by investigating turbidity and the distribution, formation, origins and constituents of resultant nepheloid layers occurring off the coast of southern Africa and unraveling the implications for Chokka, Oligo Renaudi squid resource, Jean Mercy Waruguru Mwikiki. For a thesis which demonstrates that fundamental life history strategies of southern African waterfowl, including phenotypic flexibility during molt, molting in the dry season, and strong molt-site fidelity to permanent pans are different in important ways from those comparable Northern Hemisphere species. Imduduzi Ndlovu. For a thesis which examines the impact of pine plantations on native insect communities and their role in the spread of alien invertebrates on the Cape Peninsula, Charmaine Janet Ace. For a thesis which describes and validates a new method of determining the age of commercially important Namibian hake and investigates the implications for fisheries management, Margit Renat Wilhelm.
The famous English hairdresser Vidal Sassoon once said, "The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary." Now, you have all worked very hard to achieve the success that we are confirming and celebrating here today. I congratulate each one of you on your achievement. This ceremony today is part of your rite of passage. You come into the university to transform yourselves into the bearers of new knowledge and skills. And you've undergone the necessary instruction. And now you emerge again, having satisfied your examiners, back into society with a new status. And my hope for you is that you will use your degree to achieve not only personal success, but also to use it in the interests of society as a whole. If you are achieving the status of a graduate of the University of Cape Town for the first time today, you also officially become an alumnus or an alumna of the university. Please remember to keep us informed of your whereabouts so that we can tell you about the fortunes of your alma mater in the years to come. And as alumni, it is important that you should remember that you stand here today and you've enjoyed the wonderful facilities that UCT provides because of the generosity of previous generations of alumni that have gone before you in this university. Let the advantage that you've had from those who had given in the past inspire you to help your university in the future remain the great university that it is. I also want you to remember that you would not have been where you are today without the love and support of your family and loved ones. So I invite all the graduates to stand, make eye contact with all your friends and family on this side of the hall, wave your scrolls and say thank you.